Next, on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. The final countdown begins. Only 2 events remain before the season-ending showdown at the Freedom 55 Financial Championship.
Yep.
We'll have all the action and more from the Players' Cup. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. The Players' Cup welcomed 156 players back to Winnipeg for those hoping to capture the season's 10th title and one of the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada's most prestigious trophies. This storied event also marked a homecoming of sorts, as the Players' Cup returned to Southwood Golf and Country Club for the 12th time in its nearly 100-year history. But with just 2 events remaining for players to move inside the top 60 to secure status for the 2019 season on the Mackenzie Tour and earn a trip to the season-ending Freedom 55 Financial Championship in London, the anticipation was palpable.
The main goal, other than being in the top 5 and then being in the top 25, obviously being in the top 60 and especially being around the bubble, these last 2 events before the championship is pretty important. Just gotta keep playing well and make some birdies and do the best you can, really.
It's been pretty competitive out here this year. I don't remember it being like it has been so far this year with how low the scores have been. I think I'll be able to make a decent push, so we'll see.
One good week away, 1 win, and that changes everything. Now we're all of a sudden trying to get in the top 25 or the top 10 if you're gonna get a win out here, even though we're outside the top 60 currently. So, you know, it's all in perspective.
And for those looking to jump into the top 5 and earn a Web.com tour card at season's end, a solid week in Winnipeg was critical. And as day 1 of the Players' Cup swung into action, one player didn't crack under all of that pressure. With 2 top 5s already this season, 24-year-old Cory carded a 9 under 63 on Thursday.
I hit a couple close ones in there on the first few holes and made some 15-footers, kind of got me off going, and had a little stumble there on the 6th hole, had a 3-putt, but I was hitting it good. I hit 17 greens, and the 1 green I missed, I was still putting. So it's a lot of looks today and was able to convert a few of them.
The California native worked his way to the top of the leaderboard by day's end after an impressive round filled with 10 birdies against just 1 bogey, including a 6-birdie streak before the turn.
I feel good out here. The greens are at a good speed. The course was gettable today. There wasn't much wind. Tomorrow, I'm expecting some wind and it's going to play tougher, but still make some birdies.
Coming off a T22 finish at the ATB Financial Classic and sitting at number 11 on the order of merit before the start of competition, a win would be the driving force behind a berth in the top 5.
I've been inside the top 10 the whole year, but it fired me up a little bit last week. I didn't have a great week, and you play good golf, it's all going to take care of itself.
Just 2 back of Blick, a 4-way tie for second, which included Ben Geyer and David Pastor. Both carded identical rounds with 9 birdies to just 2 bogeys, each taking home matching 7 under 65s. After the break, we catch up with Cory Ferrera, who's climbing his way up the rankings.
I can say I won a Mackenzie Tour event, and I won professionally at a tough venue.
And later, tensions build as the race for the title continues at the Players' Cup. All that and more when this is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada returns. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Cory Ferrera, the latest winner on the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.
You hitting driver here?
Yeah.
And we caught up with him for this week's On the Bag.
Your first Mackenzie Tour win in the ATB Financial in Calgary. Talk to me about that and how special it was.
Well, it's finally sunk in a little bit, and well, words can't describe it. You know, I can say I won a Mackenzie Tour event, and I won professionally at a tough venue and a tough field. Now that we're here at Southwood, and I'm ready for this week.
Tell me about that gathering of little fans that were waiting for you after you pledged in.
Oh, they're awesome. I signed this one girl's hat last year, I believe, and she came back with the same hat this year and watched me win. And yeah, it was pretty special. Hey Jake, how much room do I have up there? The more birdies, the better.
Jake, isn't it true that like last week's winner usually buys dinner for his practice round?
Brutal. I'm a little bit superstitious. I carry 4 less tees in my pocket when I tee off. And I have no idea why I do that.
You pull them out and show us?
Well, practice round, I don't have 4
Oh,
tees.
okay.
In tournament. Actually, I might.
How'd I have it?
Yeah, I got 2 and I played 3 holes, so I probably broke 2. I probably did out of habit, honestly.
You ready? Rapid fire
Oh,
questions.
man.
Here we go. Favorite club in your bag and why?
Putter, because it's fun to make putts.
Favorite movie?
Tin Cup.
Favorite non-golf athlete and why?
Oh, this is supposed to be rapid fire, but Kobe Bryant. Just admire his hard work and competitive nature.
Favorite travel destination?
Ooh, Melbourne was pretty cool, Australia.
Favorite meal?
Apple pie, dessert.
And finally, after winning last week, what's your favorite Canadian city?
Gotta be Calgary, right? I should say Winnipeg this week, but it's gotta be Calgary.
All right, thanks, man. Have a
Yeah,
good
all right,
one,
sounds good. Thanks.
As the Mackenzie Tour season winds down, the margin for error dwindles, amping up the pressure on players chasing the dream. And with those high stakes, the push to make the cut was on, as a crowded leaderboard emerged on day 2 of the Players' Cup. But only one climbed above the pack, Alex Ferrera. In just his 3rd event on tour, the 24-year-old underdog posted a 666 to close out day 2, giving this newcomer a little extra confidence heading into the weekend.
Yeah, game felt good today. Pretty solid all around. Hit my driver well and made a few putts. Shooting 65, 66 anywhere, your confidence is going to be high, but especially out here, I'm feeling the greens. I can read them pretty well, and I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Just behind Ferrera, a sea of players in a share of 2nd at 5 under, including 2 in the top 5 on the order of merit, Zach Wright and George Cunningham, who look to maintain their all-important status in the top 5. But there's no room to get comfortable, because on moving day, anything can happen.
Welcome to CFB Canadian Forces Base Winnipeg. It's called 17 Wing. It's the home of the Air Force for Manitoba, and it's the operational home of the Air Force as well.
Before the start of competition, a few Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada players challenged some members of the Royal Canadian Air Force to a friendly long drive competition.
We've got 3 of our long ball hitters against 3 of your long ball hitters. You're all dressed. Obviously, you look like total golf professionals. That's excellent.
Enjoy yourselves today. Play safe. I saw a few of you folks hit a practice shot. So if anyone takes out a window in the officer's mess, I'm going to make you pay for it, just so you know.
I think we're ready to go.
I feel like I need to scream like long drive guys like right after.
There you go. That's good. On grid, 285 yards.
Oh, that's weak. That's weak.
Attaboy! Woo! 283.
That's right, teammates. Oh, there it is.
Wow.
There it is.
On. 291.
I knew that.
Down the grid. 294 Allen.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? 317.
Okay.
Yeah! Woo! 334 is the longest drive so far.
I would like to present the cup for the longest drive, 330.
334.
334.
Corporal Paul Beautiful.
Congratulations.
After the competition, the pros got a chance to tour the 17 wing.
We have a simulator in the back, a small arms trainer, and where we essentially conduct range training.
As a flight operations and training school for the Royal Canadian Air Force, the facility produces some of the best multi-skilled personnel in the world.
Okay, this is your magazine. It's filled with compressed air. Okay, when you load, you're gonna place it in the magazine housing, push it all the way in until you hear that click. Pull the cocking handle all the way to the rear. Okay, targets to your front, watch and shoot.
With the small arms training complete, the player's next stop involved a bit more firepower.
My grips aren't this thick. My golf clubs don't weigh this much. Awesome.
Oh, come on, you do better than that.
Coming up after the break, the adventure continues with the Canadian Forces. And then it's moving day at the Players' Cup when this is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada returns. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. After a packed morning on base, our Mackenzie Tour players continued their training in hopes of earning their wings at the Canadian Forces School of Survival. Next stop, the flight simulator.
Well, I'm in the air.
Yep. So you have your airspeed, you have your altitude, and you can actually look into your cockpit and see everything, your GPS.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
You could be a pilot, there you go. If you do a barrel roll, you'll truly get to experience that spatial disorientation.
After taking to the skies, it was time for a crash course in disaster prevention with a bit of aeronautic training.
When you take your head from this plane and quickly turn your head to the target that you just shot at to see if you hit it, you're going to activate a second semicircular canal. So we're going to do that for you.
Can you practice this?
Why would you want to? What did you have for breakfast, just in case we see it again? Next.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Come on. Ready, sit up.
And everyone jumped in on the action.
Is that seatbelt on tight?
Let's hope. Oh,
So maybe they didn't walk away with their wings this time, but at least there's always golf.
That was awesome. Guys, thanks again, eh?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Here we go again. A familiar name vaulted to the top spot on the leaderboard during round 3 of the Players' Cup. For the third time in 4 weeks, Tyler McCumber grabbed the 54-hole lead. The 27-year-old posted a bogey-free 7-under 65, which consisted of 5 birdies and an eagle on the par 5 16th.
Today was definitely my best day. I was a little more relaxed, a little more kind of in the flow, in the zone, and was hitting good shots and really not as anxious today. We just went out and kind of freewheeled it.
Saturday's 65 was his 9th round of 65 or better in his last 15.
There's been some stuff I've been working on, sort of mentally down the stretch in the final rounds in the last group, and I want to put it into play tomorrow.
The University of Florida graduate headed to the final round in the driver's seat once again, with a 1-stroke advantage over Drew Weaver. One of the more experienced players on the Mackenzie Tour, Weaver spent the last 2 seasons playing on the Web.com Tour, but at 31, he's not taking anything for granted. His 6-under 65 at Southwood Golf and Country Club on Saturday vaulted him into contention, a place he's been before. He won on the Mackenzie Tour in 2015. Meanwhile, 23-year-old George Cunningham has already tasted success this season. With his win in Kelowna and 3 top 5 finishes thus far, he's 3rd on the order of merit. And he maintained that momentum on Saturday with a 3-under par 69, firing 5 birdies against 2 bogeys, finishing just 2 off the lead. 36-hole leader Alex Ferrera played to a 1-under 71 on moving day, but that wasn't enough to hold off McCumber's charge. He fell back into a 5-way tie for 4th at 14 under par. Coming up next on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. Can Tyler McCumber capture title number 3, or will someone from the pack chase him down? Find out when we return. But first,
should we wear the same outfit tomorrow?
We're kind of in a team, so we both just try to make our way up, and we're just trying to support each other on the way.
we sit down with the tour's first set of identical twins, Jeremy and Yannick Paul. Or is it Yannick and Jeremy? After the break. This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada. You might think you're seeing double on the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada this season. No, you're not crazy. There's a set of identical twins teeing it up each week. Germany's Jeremy and Yannick Paul are just enjoying the ride together, a journey that began 24 years ago.
He's born probably like 2 minutes prior to him, so.
So you're
I'm the older one, the dominant one.
you come back for that or?
Not really, no. I'm bigger, so it's not really a big thing. So when we look at pictures from, I don't know, when we were 2 years old and so, it's really, really tough for us to figure out who's who.
Should we wear the same outfit tomorrow?
No. Now it's definitely a little easier, but here on the tour and stuff, a lot of the people know that we're twins, but some don't. There was just a guy that came to sit with me, and he got a treatment downstairs, and was actually a friend of us, but we don't see each other that often. And he was talking to me for 10 minutes, and then he figured out, he thought I was Yannick the whole time, but until he figured out I was Jeremy, so.
Growing up in Viernheim, Germany, golf wasn't the obvious choice for the Paul brothers.
Everyone plays soccer over there. It's the biggest sport, so we played soccer till we were 12, and then we picked up golf when we were 7, because our grandparents played golf, and then parents started to play golf, and then it took us out, and then, yeah, we really liked it, so we kind of played soccer and golf at the same time for like a couple of years.
Their decision to pursue golf eventually took them both west, to the University of Colorado.
Great golf program, coaches were awesome, and so we kind of fell in love with the place, and it was awesome. It was the right decision for sure, and we had a fantastic time there. Yeah, at the beginning it was definitely not that easy, but we really enjoyed the grind and stuff. We met so many nice people.
Professionally, both Jeremy and Yannick are finding their footing on the Mackenzie Tour, although they've taken different roads to get here. Jeremy played a bit on the Web.com Tour in 2017, while Yannick maintained his amateur status. They've both posted one top 10 this season. Yannick is currently 60th on the order of merit, while Jeremy sits in 55th.
You obviously never know if it's going to work out, but you can give everything you got, and then at the end you will see if it's enough or if it's not, and then later in life you can say, that was awesome, that was great time. You know, you don't have a lot of responsibilities right now. We're both still young, so it's awesome. We get to travel a lot, get to see a lot of cool places, and we get to do it together, so that's even better. At the end of the day, you got your family support, so it's nice to have someone that really truly cares about how you're doing, and since we grew up together, we kind of know each other's game a lot. And I know he's struggling, I can help him out if it's with his golf swing, with putting, or his mental aspect. So that's been a huge help. You know, we can talk over certain situations, you know, what strategy to take, you know, what to do after the round if it's not going that well. I'm really happy to see him play well and stuff, and it makes me happy to see him go low. So there isn't really a competition. When you put it in perspective, we're traveling here, we're playing golf. How many people can say that? So if you see it from this angle, like a bad round doesn't seem that bad anymore. And then you start to enjoy it more. For us, it's all about perspective and enjoying life. Obviously, our end goal is to be on the PGA Tour at some point together in life. It's obviously our goal, and that would be awesome. Even that we're playing here on the Mackenzie Tour together as twins, you know. You have sometimes brothers, but twins, it's really rare that we're pretty equal in strength, and we know we can do the same steps together. We're kind of in a team, so we both just try to make our way up, and we're just trying to support each other on the way.
The final round of the Players' Cup possessed a similar feel to those final rounds from Caledon and Edmonton, with Tyler McCumber's name on the top of the leaderboard at the beginning of the day. The only question was, could he do it again? McCumber started off one shot in front of Drew Weaver, but quickly distanced himself from Weaver and the rest of the field with birdies on 4 of his first 6 holes.
I was fortunate to kind of come out of the gates early, getting some momentum going my way. I had a couple birdies there, and then kind of just kept it going.
Weaver couldn't catch up. After an even par front 9, the Virginia native went 2 under on his closing 9 to finish his tournament at 18 under par. Good enough for solo third. McCumber's biggest challenge came from Michael Gellerman. The 26-year-old made a charge down the stretch, going 4 under on the back 9. He posted a bogey-free 6 under 66, matching the low round of the day. But he still couldn't get any closer than 2 strokes of McCumber, who closed the door on another championship with a birdie at the par 5 16, his only birdie on the back 9.
Obviously, knocking on the door and being in the last groups for an extended period of time, you start to get to where you're handling your nerves better. I'm definitely in a position where I'm doing that and able to kind of sort of keep trying to play good golf versus worrying about maybe some other things that you might be worrying about.
McCumber claimed his 3rd title in 4 starts with a 5 under 67 on the final day. The win keeps McCumber atop the order of merit for the 3rd consecutive week, and he's got a sizable lead over Zach Wright in 2nd place. George Cunningham turned in another solid performance and is inching closer to Wright. Gellerman jumps up 6 spots into the top 5 with his 2nd place finish in Winnipeg, and the Texan, Sam Fedone, rounds out the top 5. Next time, we're down to 1. There's 1 event left to earn a spot in the top 60 and the season-ending Freedom 55 Financial Championship. With Web.com Tour and Mackenzie Tour status on the line, we head to Montreal for the Mackenzie Investments Open presented by Jaguar Laval. Watch all the drama unfold next time on This is the Mackenzie Tour PGA Tour Canada.